It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Dr. Makodige. How are you?
I'm very good.
I actually like your outfit.
Thank you.
Very
I like it too.
Yeah,
It's I had two options of what to wear for a party on Saturday, so I decided to wear one, and I felt okay. Let me wear the second one on the show on Monday. Benefits of being a brand ambassador for a fashion outfit. So Louisa put me together, and they have really, really classy pieces. I was just.
How was the party on Saturday though?
It was fun. Like, it was one of the most classy events I've been to in a while. Like, I think maybe because it wasn't so crowded. The entire people that attended were less than 100. There was 6 per table, well spaced. Everything, the food, it was so good. It was really big. They complied and everybody wore their mask, you know.
People that were meant to eat
yes.
portions.
It was good meals, you know. It was a good time. So once again, I would say happy birthday, happy 50th birthday to Temitope, my namesake Iluyemi, and she's been a blessing. God bless you. Continue to grow.
How are you doing, Nima?
I'm fine. They should give those people, Temitope and her organizers, an award under this present.
Yeah, they didn't.
That's how parties should be. For me, weekend was for family. I went to see my mom. I attended an event of a family friend, and it was an Islamic wolimo. They call it graduation from reciting the Quran. I don't believe in this. I had mine as a young girl, but I don't think my children will be doing that. But these children have done their work. They had, memorized the Quran, and I was happy to be there. I felt very impressed because their mother is such an hardworking hands-on mom. Well done, Diola Dimejes. But after that, I have a backlog of work that I've been dodging. So I had to work till daybreak. Hopefully, so I can continue with my phone at the office. I'll be resuming today at Saindosha since November.
Fantastic. How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing great.
Published author.
Thank you very much. I think Mariah is going to call me published author for the rest of my life. I'm fine. Weekend was family as well. So my stepkids came, and we all went. My mom, my sister, we all went to Omo Resort. We spent the whole day there. It was so much fun. The last time I went was for my birthday, and we're just the only ones there. It was more private, but now everyone was there. It was really fun. Spent the whole day there. You guys, you should take your kids there. It's really nice.
It's a nice place.
Beautiful.
My daughter can't
the animals, and then there's the kayaking, there's boat rides, then there are all sorts of games. You know, everything is there.
It's nice. Well organized.
Yeah, really beautiful.
What happened to you this weekend?
Saturday, we had a small photo shoot for my daughter. She's going to be 10 very soon.
Yay!
Yeah, so we took some pictures for her to prepare for the party. Our party is coming up. We'll be sending invitation. We couldn't agree on the venue. That's why we've not sent invitations out, but I'll send invitations out very soon. And yes, Sunday we had a party. Honorable birthday doing from board members to there was 50 on Sunday.
Yay.
And she invited me, and I said I was there with my husband. It was nice, just nice.
When I said you went to a party, there's no way you will not go with your husband. We know that. So
yeah, really. I got that kind of money.
You always go with your husband.
People always say that.
They cannot give her invitation for one. Just expect to give her 2.
I always get that. Don't worry, I've sent you 2 invitations. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
Let's go on a break. When we return, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We start with the nation. NLC mobilizes for protest against hike in petrol prices. Experts, CBN policies can't rescue Naira. Uneasy calm in APC governor's camp over convention. Father, daughter arrested with fresh human parts in Osun. Hashtag NSAS, insurance set aside 13.2 billion naira compensation. ECOWAS hits Mali with border and other sanctions. Auditor General queries BPE over hidden 14.7 billion naira proceeds. And bandits release teacher and 30 Kebbi peoples. Okay, which story are we taking? Yes.
On the 8th of January, have released a teacher and 30 students who were abducted June 17, 2021 from the Federal Government College Benin, Yauri. And that means they spent 6 months in captivity. Before then, 2 students had been released although there's no information if any ransom was paid for those children. And I remember during the abduction of these kids, a police officer lost his life. So they are going to be taken for, of course, medical checkup and also all the other procedures that happen when captives are released like that. So that's good news for the year.
Right. Okay, so according to the, I think it's called the Insurance Digest, insurance companies, insurance firms have actually set aside 13.2 billion naira hashtag NSAS claims. This is outside the 9 billion that was already paid last year to many companies and persons. According to them, the impact of the hashtag NSAS claims hit hard on the coronavirus pandemic and insurance policies. So notable firms they are going to be faced with lots of claims this year coming, and they've already set aside about 13.2 billion for possible claims by over 5,000 frontline health workers, incentives to ensure them for support of the eventuality of being on the line of duty, and a bunch of other things that we mentioned. But it's interesting that at least we're showing that people who lost properties, lost a lot of their jobs as a result of the pandemic and the hashtag NSAS will be compensated through the insurance companies.
Very important. The major headline, the NLC has started mobilization of Nigerian workers against the proposed hike in petrol by removal of subsidy. The chairperson has written, Ayuba Waba has written to his comrades across the nation that on the 27th of January, in all states, there will be nationwide protests. And then on the 1st of February, there will be a major nationwide protest, a protest in Abuja to protest against this price increase. Also, the TVC is also proposing a protest against the electricity tariff increase. So I'm most likely going to see protests happening this 2022 because of the several proposal of taxes and increments and of various sectors by the federal government.
So the Auditor General of the Federation, Adolphus Agugu, has queried a specific 14.7 billion naira proceeds from the privatization of the PHCN in 2013. According to him, the Auditor General found that the money was kept in 2 commercial bank accounts as at 2017, and that is now querying the explanation. However, the Director General of the BPE has said that if they had simply asked, they would have given them all the necessary information, that the accounts are now closed. The accounts no longer, according to what he said, these accounts are unaudited bank balances were actually no longer in existence as of the date of the audited financial statements. So we are going to be, this is already in front of the Senate Public Accounts Committee, chaired by Matthew Ogodi. Mr. Matthew. So we're expecting that the Senate will look through it and then we have the clarity on, because we keep hearing missing funds or funds stuck in accounts, and it comes into the media space without proper, without it being duly investigated completely before we start labeling or throwing accusations around. Let the committee do their work.
Let's move quickly now to the Punch. Enforce compulsory vaccination for local government state workers, FG tells governors. Akeredolu vows to end headers attacks in Ondo. I removed my second testicle to kill sexual urge, says UI 500 level medicine dropout. Commercial bus driver stabs lover's husband to death in Ogun. Grandpa Brazil returnee undergraduate arrested with cocaine, tramadol, and cannabis. Convention APC awaits peace panel's report agreed members list conditions. Capital importation falls by 1.68 trillion naira, says CBN. And AFG issues Lassa fever alert, death toll hits 102. Cases now about 4,632. Okay, so let's start with the sexual urge guy.
Yeah, so a 44-year-old man, his name is Temen Anongo. He dropped out from the University of Ibadan. He had gotten to a 500 level at the University of Ibadan as a medical student. He dropped out and became a cart pusher. The story came out sometime last year, and even his classmates had sort of rallied around him. And another part of the story is that he castrated himself. He took out his right testicle, he said, because he's an unmarried man and he's also very religious. And he didn't want that urge to keep interfering with his religious beliefs. So he took his right testicle out himself. He said when he on himself. He said, but when he started to do it, there was a lot of blood, and he was rushed to the hospital where it was finally, knitted up. So the Bible says when your eye causes you to sin, you should pluck it out. You would not think it meant like literally like that, but I guess some people will take it that way. But also, I think someone needs to sit with him and talk to him and just evaluate him and make sure that he's okay.
Yes, major headlines.
So the National Primary Health Care Development Agency has started to urge or implore that state governments start enforcing compulsory vaccination in their states. This is according to them because vaccinated Nigerians remain at 4.2% of our population, and we have those who have taken their first doses, the percentage is staying at 9.2% by January 9, which was yesterday. And of course, the NCDC continue to report increase in infected persons. My own idea is, yes, we have unenforced regulations about people partying, people hosting, people going out to places. Nobody enforces face masks wearing anymore. While we are focused so much on people get vaccinated, we forget the other, measures to curb the spread of COVID-19. I think aside compelling people to take vaccine, we should compel people to do the needful. At an event that I went yesterday, I was the only one that I forgot. If I forgot my face mask, I drove out to find face mask in the entire limousine that I kept driving around. I didn't find the shop selling.
Wow.
I didn't find the shop selling. I had to go find my way into traffic for those ones.
And I know someone who traveled, and in the entire contingent, she was the only one that was fetishly wearing a mask, and she was the only one that did not get COVID. Every other person tested positive when they were coming back, but she was like, the nose mask actually worked because she didn't get COVID when she was coming back. Okay, so I'll take the story of a commercial bus driver who stabbed the lover to death. Another sad story of these things that we see, and we wonder, we keep saying it, you know better how to control your emotions. So this man, his name is 38-year-old commercial bus driver Daniel Udo. Allegedly, he was having an affair with a woman, and then he got into a fight with the woman's husband and stabbed the husband. He was arrested swiftly. Sadly, the man died, and here we go. One drama leading to somebody having life in prison.
Okay, I was going to take the story about a septuagenarian and another younger man. So he's known as Old Soldier, and the other young man is also known as Edwin Agbon. They were both drug lords, and they were arrested by the NDLEA over the holidays. I think it was, and they say it was actually on Friday. They were arrested on January 7th. They were arrested by undercover operatives embedded in the courier company they were using to transfer the drugs. According to them, they found let's see, contains Colorado brand of cannabis concealed inside chocolates and cookies, and they also had other chocolates that that had drugs in them. I mean, this is unbelievable. And there was another airline from Ethiopia that arrived in Enugu, and also they also arrested. This one had 58 pellets of cocaine swallowed in his system. His name is, I think, let me get the name. I think Akano Ibiam. No, that's the international hospital. That's the airport. I can't get the name of the person. I can't find his name. But
Augustine.
Augustine, you got the name?
Yes, his name, 48-year-old Augustine, but his surname was withheld.
So, I mean, I'm happy that even while we're having great holidays, NDLEA was still working, because the truth is that there is this huge cabal of people that bring in drugs and sell it to children, because eventually it gets to the children. It gets to our kids actually use these drugs eventually. So I'm so happy that the work is ongoing on that. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present.
Thanks for staying with us. So we move on to Daily Sun. 2023 presidency, anxiety over Jonathan's rumored interest. IPOB flays Buhari's stand of Kanu. FG pledges to prioritize welfare of military personnel. Senate unearths defunct PHCN's 14.7 billion naira stashed in banks. Serap sues Lawan Bajamiamila over failure to probe the missing 4.1 billion naira National Assembly funds. Convention, more troubles for APC. And power projects intervention to GOP 806 billion naira in 2022. Okay.
Yeah, so the federal government has vowed to improve the welfare of the personnel of the armed forces, their families, their next of kin for their sacrifices. Of course, this was made known by the Vice President at the Interdenominational Service to mark the Armed Forces Remembrance Day. He said that our commitment as an administration is to ensure that the welfare, benefits, and entitlements of the next of kin will remain our priority. We also remember the veterans who willingly put their lives in harm's way to protect us. But he also said this, he said that for all of the sacrifices that our armed forces continue to make, do we as a people, are we worthy of their sacrifice? So he was also asking that we should support the military and other security agencies to address the security challenges in our country.
Okay, what's doing, son?
Yeah, so the Serap case. Serap has sued Dr. Lawan and Mr. Bajamiamila, according to the way they put it, for a missing 4.1 billion naira. Still following up with the Auditor General story. So in the recent Auditor General's report, there's 4.1 billion naira that was appropriated for National Assembly since for 2016. and it was missing, according to the Auditor General's report, is missing. And so Serap is suing these two leaders of the National Assembly to court that they failed to do what they are meant to do immediately they noticed this report, saying that they should have referred this case to the agencies so that the agencies would not carry out the corruption charges of tracing where the money went to, how it was spent, what it was spent on. And we must all remember that the National Assembly workers are still complaining that they haven't gotten their minimum wage, the required minimum wage, and that they are threatening to go on strike. So obviously, there might be some monetary issues in the National Assembly that needs to be investigated. As Serap is saying, Mr. Speaker Bogabiamila and Senate President Lawan should do their job of investigating, and they've sued them to court for not doing that so far.
So there's a lot of romance between former President Jonathan and the APC. His party is quite worried about this romance. So that posters of him have been placed around town and social media, and they're saying that, his spokesperson, let me get his name, is that Ikechukwu Eze dismissed the poster, saying that this is not from their own camp, saying that there is nothing like that. But you know, we've been seeing a lot of meetings with former President Jonathan, even with Buhari recently, in a closed-door meeting. I really saw them coming and went, no problem. We're discussing. So because there are indications that he might be moving to APC, obviously for obvious reasons. But the obvious reason saying that people, because the easiest thing is that he has 4 more years, and they say that if he becomes president, it means that the rotation will go right back to the north. I mean, that's what's out there. But there's another spokesperson that said something within the APC saying that if he goes to APC, we wouldn't miss him. Because listen, since he left, he hasn't really participated within party politics. They've given an assignment and he's been on and about. So we won't miss him much, but it will be wrong for him to go to APC. Others are saying that it's just a publicity stunt, that they're really sure there's nothing there. So we wait. 2022 obviously is a deciding year. So we'll see a lot of players move around and we'll see what happens in 2023. Moving on now to the point. Revealed why APC convention may not hold in February. Our deity made me, 4 children go blind, says widow. Why Nigerians can't trust an Igbo president, Hakeem Baba Ahmed. Drug addict goes berserk, kills his 2 brothers, 3 others over memory card. Who has that story? Memory
I have
card.
the 2.
Oh, go ahead.
So first the widow. Yes, so this widow from Ebonyi State is soliciting financial assistance. Her name is Nkechi Ugo, and she was born blind. She got married and she has 4 children also blind. She's insisting that she needs money to appease her deity. That her father had gone to a soothsayer at the time of her birth, and he was told to appease the deity, and that, you know, that's why she's blind and she has 4 children. But fortunately, the Ministry for Women Affairs and Social Development in Ebonyi State has, you know, been directed by the governor to assist her, so she's been accommodated somewhere and presently being taken care of. They've also gotten a medical doctor to come and do an evaluation and diagnose exactly what it is that, you know, is genetically causing blindness for her or in her family. And hopefully we'll get to the root of it and see if it is curable or if, you know, she needs to be maintained.
Wow.
Also, the young man
is there
in Ebonyi State also, his name is Chukwube Nnamani. He obviously, because of Ukpurumiri, got high, and they said they had had an issue about a settlement from one of these network companies, compensation paid to his family, over ₦1 million with the family in the past. But this time around, he kept asking for his memory card, which he didn't find. And before they could say Jack, he macheted his 2 siblings to death, and also, you know, attacked several villagers in the village. They're saying that it's because, of course, he's under the influence of that substance.
Moving on quickly to Vanguard. Don't hike VAT. Stop excise duty comeback. OPS tells federal government. Our poor generation metering gap shackle power sector in 2021. Adults fully vaccinated against COVID-19 rarely die, says WHO. ECOWAS imposes tough sanctions on Mali. APC convention, how Buhari APC governors meeting was aborted. And picture here with Vanguard personality of the year. So quite a number of people there. Okay.
Okay, adults fully vaccinated against COVID-19 rarely die from the disease. Is that the World Health Organization is saying that if, as an adult, you're fully vaccinated, even if when you get the infection, the virus, you are unlikely to end up in hospital or death. And this is based on lots of research and data, across many of the centers in America, of course. And they have put this together. And so this is just to let and encourage people to take these vaccines. They talked about the Omicron variant. They said the Omicron variant is less severe in young people, but is not so mild in adult people. And in adults, it says that for those who are likely to end up in hospital or death, it's because even after getting the vaccine, it's because of maybe there's a certain, they said like senior citizens, that's one, people who already have some form of underlying conditions. So those people need to even be more careful when, during this period. But it is important to take these vaccines because they do help.
So let me take the story about ECOWAS and Mali. If we recall, in 2020, the members of the military, in the Malian military, in August, took over the power from the president, Ibrahim Keita, after the coup. And now ECOWAS had a meeting in Ghana, Accra, Ghana, and our own country was represented by, the president was represented by vice president. The conclusion was to put heavy sanctions on Mali. It includes the fact that they've closed all the land borders and air border, so nobody can get into Mali through those means. Suspension of non-essential financial transaction and freezing of all Mali's assets in banks within ECOWAS country. And we're hoping that putting that pressure on Mali would help to stabilize, bringing democracy back into rule within Mali. And because we know that if a country around you is destabilized, there's very likelihood that it will spread into another country. So I applaud this move as something good, even as we're trying to solve our internal security challenges.
Right. But I was going to take a story on the metering. It was pretty interesting, but I don't have the full picture. So it was a report that was given by NERC saying that we had the 8,000 megawatts capacity, but we were only able to do about 4,000 megawatts last year. And they were given a report on what caused the poor generation, saying that they had distribution issues, and they said the distribution infrastructures were largely blamed, and limiting generation gas supply difficulties remain the biggest hurdle for gas-powered plants. And they gave quite a few reasons, and I think it's an interesting article to discuss the hot topic because we have the capacity, we are generating, but distribution is a problem because and we don't have enough meters across. So we have a lot of issues. So we need to review that issue we discussed a few years ago concerning NERC. How far they gone with the metering? How far they've gone with the infrastructure? How far they've gone with even ensuring that more private owners are coming in to help them with the distribution of the meters. Remember, we're saying that it's open it up for more people to help them to distribute. We'll see how that goes. Moving on very quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. APC may adopt consensus ahead of February convention. 5 years after Abuja airport closure, FG fails to construct second runway. PS's invitation plots to silence Bishop Kuka. Bandits release additional 30 students teacher in Kebbi after 6 months. Man, 76 fake security agent in NDLA net over imported drug, chocolates, and cookies. Process to authenticate next Olubadan continues tomorrow. And 2 years after deadline, more than 50% of Nigerian private school teachers still unqualified, says TRCN. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I took the Teachers Registration Council of Nigeria, so that's TRCN. The CEO is saying that they had given a 2-year deadline, which is long past, and by 2 years, and still we have about 50% of Nigerians who still do not have the basic qualifications to be teachers and stand in front of students. And it says one of the two qualifications is that, one, the Nigeria Certificate in Education is mandatory, and then the TRCN certificate itself. He says that this problem cuts across all the 6 geopolitical zones, but is worse in the northern parts of the country, and communities like remote communities. And so they said that very soon they are going to start monitoring and enforcing. He says it's important that only professionals stand before our children to teach, because if you're not a professional teacher, you will not be effective in doing your teaching job. And it says most private schools know about this. Public schools are aware, all government-approved schools are aware of this and still employ teachers who do not have these basic qualifications. So we need to talk to ourselves.
Oh, please, I need to take this story of Lassa, please, because we're going to run out of time. And many of the, we've lost 102 people to Lassa fever right now. The NCDC is saying that it's likely because it's undiagnosed, that all the health workers should be on the lookout. If you have someone who's has fever, and 48 hours hasn't responded to anti-malaria medicine, they should start flagging that down for Lassa fever, and that everybody should be on the lookout for that, because many people don't know what to look out for. 48 hours without treatment, without response to anti-malaria could be Lassa fever, and we should look out because it's increasing.
Very important.
Wrap up.
The 5 years after the Abuja airport closure for repairs of the runway, and the proposal of a second runway, which was about pegged at 63.5 billion. Remember, the Senate then was saying in 2017 that that amount was too high. It was an attempt to reap the nation of that money. But till now, since the approval and everything, we still don't have a second runway in Abuja. Remember, at the time when the airport was shut, the alternative was Kaduna. Then you land in Kaduna and have to travel that Kaduna road that, Zaria road, that is hellish in itself, to Abuja. I think that the Senate should reopen this and do a proper program.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, once our hot topic of the day, stay with us. We'll be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV.
Thanks for staying with us. So, our hot topic today is about the plan by the government to hike VAT on not just carbonated drinks, but also increase in other items. And we know that Labour is also planning for a strike before the end of this month concerning the issue of subsidy, the removal of subsidy. I mean, this has always happened over the years. But this issue specifically of carbonated drinks, recently there was a meeting by the organized private sector of Nigeria, and they were trying to appeal to the federal government to suspend their plan to reintroduce this issue of a percentage to be on the VAT for carbonated drinks. What are your thoughts on this? Especially because according to the reports, this was done many years ago. In fact, interestingly, we used to pay a certain percentage on carbonated drinks, but according to the reports, it was suspended back in 2009, and because of the economic operations, economic realities of the time. But they were now saying that, unfortunately, these economic realities haven't been abated since 2009, and because of that, it is wrong, especially now that businesses are still looking for opportunity to have easy way of doing business. They said they needed something more support from the government to enhance their manufacturing companies. So this for them is not right at this time. And also many countries are also trying to support people at this time. So what are your thoughts? Because the truth is that if we also look on the other side, we are borrowing, right? We are consistently borrowing. We need the money. And the government is looking for opportunities and options of how to get money. So they told us taxes is one option for revenue, aside from oil. So what are the options on the table, and what do you think about this report and plans to tax our carbonated drinks? Please call us on 081-270-53687, 09139076948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'd like to hear your thoughts. So, Maria, let me start with you. Do you think this is a necessary, I don't want to use evil, it's such a strong word. Taxation is a necessary evil for any economy to develop. But do you think it's right at this time, or do you think it should be suspended?
Definitely, I think necessary evil is the word to use. About if it's right at this time, you know, it's hard to always to give the right time to do anything. Look at in the example given in 2009, it was suspended because the economic situation at the time was not favorable, especially to manufacturing industries, you know, and it was government's way of trying to support them. And so we have left it up until now, but now we are coming, this is the back of, we are coming off the back of a pandemic. Many industries across the world, you know, are struggling, and richer countries are able to support those in their own industries. But Nigeria is in a serious situation. We can't even afford to do that. We're constantly asking for better infrastructure. We're asking for better payment of salaries, you know, and yet we don't have the options, unlimited options where we can raise revenue. So tax is the way to go. So I see government's reason why they would think that taxing us and overtaxing us. But the thing is, when you look at this conversation that everyone is having, it seems that the government does not sit down with stakeholders, you know, and have proper conversations on the way to go. I feel that if you involved stakeholders in conversations like this, in discussions like this, they're able to come up with different options or a way to do it in such a way that is not so heavy right now on these industries, on the citizens. My fear, especially with our manufacturing industries, we're Nigerians, we understand that electricity, they don't have that, they have to get diesel to run their, you know, to run their plants. Right. We know that there's so much struggle, and with that, they're employing a large number of Nigerians. So my fear is when you now put so much taxation, especially on this industry, what would happen to Nigerians and the jobs that they are meant to get from this industry? Would it mean that they'll start cutting down on people that they can employ? Would this mean that they will now start cutting down on how much they can produce? Right. Would this increased taxation also reflect increased, better infrastructure so that the manufacturing industries, even though excise duties are high, but they're able to produce and manufacture in a more beneficial environment? So those are the questions.
But if we look at the numbers, Tokwe, back then, there was a time where we were all clamoring for let us locally produce things. Back then, it wasn't so rife. But now, we have a lot of companies coming up. So whether we want to accept it or not, there have been some kind of improvement. So with this growth that we've seen, yeah, albeit Nigerians don't see it, but we've seen some economically. Don't you think taxes is the next thing? Now that you're growing, you might as well pay something to the government. But manufacturing keeps saying, don't tax us. We're not yet ready. Because we're still providing electricity for ourselves. We're still providing this. But the truth is that there is some kind of growth. Why are we so adverse to paying taxes? Sometimes?
Obviously, Nigeria is broke and indebted. So there's need to find money, whichever way. And while there will never be the right time to increase, no country, at no point was there ever in history a time when anybody or company said, okay, come and tax me more right now. It's never going to happen. So obviously, there will be brick wall. But this is a situation where both parties are in their need. And so we must find a way to make this thing work. It is impossible for the government to listen to the manufacturers and stop the move of increasing taxation because the country needs the money. So the manufacturers, knowing that we are going to pay this money whether we like it or not, should come together and make a list of what is essential to them. What is the key area that we need as manufacturers? We need access to Forex. We don't want to have to buy from black market. We don't want to have to bribe people to get Forex. As manufacturers, we need good roads. So in your infrastructural development, prioritize what is important to us so that when we pay taxes, we see the effects and it eases our business. From the OPS, the comment was that we still need, this is the time to incentivize us more because we are struggling to keep our staff strength. The companies are struggling. So if you now put more burden on us, we might have to lay off more people. So it's like the chicken and egg ratio. If your country collapses, you don't have a business. If your country survives, you will be able to sustain your business. I think we can all agree that we don't have any issues with the need for money. We have issues with misappropriation and lack of proper priorities in how we spend the money. But if you spend the money right, we will see development all around.
Yeah, but you see, part of I just saw it coming from the Chamber of Commerce saying that instead of taxing us, manufacturers, why don't you spread or open up the tax bracket? You know, so there are lots of sectors that are not well taxed. There are the informal sectors. There are some people who are buying champagne every day and they're not paying taxes. There are those who are every day, we see them spraying money every single day at parties, wearing the most expensive, bringing everything you're wearing is imported. We're probably not even paying taxes for these things. So the point is that why don't you widen the tax bracket? Ensure you enforce make sure that Nima has bought, is paid at least 20% for that jacquard. They're in jacquard, whatever it is, you're buying from where the country, Austria, or Malaysia, all those funny things. So if you enforce it, maybe you actually get more money than increasing stuff what that the common man, the carbonated drink that the common man is taking. Why would you? So I mean, Nima, what do you think about that?
I totally agree that we should widen, because according to the chairperson of the FIRS, only 41 million Nigerians are paying taxes already, and we have over 200 million people. So we need to widen. But then even within that 41 million, are they the richest? Is it that 1%, you know, people who get the waivers? For me, there's also a problem in that we get this revenue, but we're not seeing the businesses, the SMEs that we need to tax grow. We don't provide the enabling environment, that balanced enabling environment. Like you mentioned now, when I have to generate power and other costs, I will tell you I'm not ready for the tax or the excise duty that you want to put on carbonated drinks, because, you know, I still have other costs that I have to consider. So I would expect that as they are borrowing, and you know this economic team around the president should be advising the president on how important it is that the people you want to tax have are empowered to even earn. Then, like Miriam said, we are getting off a pandemic. We know a lot of people, a lot of companies had to downsize. A lot of people lost their jobs. We don't even have the purchasing power for some of the increases that we have now. We had the chairperson of gas, whatever, here, saying that Nigerians don't have purchasing power and gas continues to go up. People need to survive. We must have a balanced, objective way of looking at these things. Not that because we have to, sadly, we have to service certain debts. We then have to just find ways by force, by fire to further impoverish our people through taxes.
We have to go on a break, Nima. But you said something that was interesting, because a lot of people use that data. But I read the data that says that those who lost their jobs, many of them started businesses online, actually. I mean, there was some, I can't remember where I got that data from, but yes, you lost your job, but many moved online. So it wasn't like we lost that money,
but even if the economical online. Are we just moving with them again with taxes until they find their foot? Or
they
we'll
let them us to Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, now.
Charge taxes on
Are
everything.
we going to let them find their balance?
YouTube is charging 30%. I mean, they told me they're good. That's what I was told.
YouTube?
What I'm saying is that get the point.
Me advertising on Facebook, I'm paying like 10%. If I advertise 10,000 naira, I'm paying almost 1,000 naira on every advert I place. And I'm paying taxes in Lagos, I'm paying taxes on Your View, I'm paying taxes everywhere. And yet I go and do adverts on my business, and I have to pay taxes on that one as well.
The point I'm trying to make is that we're not carrying placard. Like YouTube is going to charge us maybe 30% right now, because they told me that you have to pay. I mean, I'm still there. I'm yet to be paid. I don't want to know how many taxes, how many percent I'll be taxed. But they're telling me that it's possible I'm going to get 30% taxes. I can't carry placard. But their Nigerian government to charge you ordinary 10%. The whole Nigeria will come down because they charge you 10%. I'm just saying, but you see, we'll get to that point. I'm saying that I'm not asking Nigerians to come and charge us 30%. What I'm saying is that we have mouth within our own shores to be screaming here that they've increased taxes. But we're all paying the taxes on YouTube because we want to earn the revenue.
Because they're giving us a platform.
They're giving exactly what it is.
We'll go we'll come back. We'll continue. See, maybe somebody in their own country don't pay the taxes that you're using. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News, watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
Thanks for staying with us. So, we're still discussing this possible increase on vaccinated drinks on taxes. The federal government is planning to increase VAT on carbonated drinks. And NLC was saying that people will go hungry. I mean, you guys know I have an issue with NLC because I just think that they are one of our major problems in this country. But are they exaggerating, or are people really going to go hungry if they don't have carbonated drinks? Mariam?
Well, you know what? You know how I feel about carbonated drinks.
Yeah,
it's sugar, and so on the one hand, anything that will make Nigerians to take less of sugar, you know, drinks that may cause them health issues in the long run, I'm for it, but not in this way. I would like for Nigerians to be able to make a better choice for themselves. You know, I don't know if I would say Nigerians will go hungry once carbonated drinks, the prices of carbonated drinks will go up, because the hunger is from, you know, real food. Nigerians are going hungry because farmers can't get to their farms due to insecurity. That's a real issue. And NLC should speak up on that, how government should improve security, you know, around the different states, especially in the north, where farmers are constantly crying out because they've been, their farms have been overtaken by bandits. I understand that the NLC is just trying to push, make this such a powerful thing so that government can sit down and re-strategize or rethink the way to go. But NLC also needs to be a partner. I understand it can be an opposition to check the government, but also can be a partner on what is the best way for us to make sure that Nigerians are not hungry. And that if government is trying to raise taxes through this, because NLC also said, raise the taxes of sugar, raise it on sugar instead of the carbonated drinks. I don't agree with that, because you can use sugar for also many other things that Nigerians take that's not necessarily carbonated drinks. And so what will happen is that not only carbonated drinks now will be expensive, but every other thing that sugar is being used for. So I think NLC is exaggerating on that, saying that increase in price of carbonated drinks will cause mass hunger.
Let me take a look, Shujin, and come to you, Tokwe. Good morning. Are you there? From Yanakwaja.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Olushiji Oshinega from Yanakwaja.
Yes, go ahead.
The topic has been a subject of discussion among a lot of people, the tax that the federal government proposed to introduce. I want to agree with Morayo and then my sister Ajia there, that the truth of it is this: the government is taxing manufacturers of consumable products. It's going to it's going to overload the already suffering masses, because the bulk is going to be passed on to the masses. It is better. The banking sector, for instance, they are making billions. They should increase their taxes. They are already taxed. Like, according to the statistics you have, that only 41 million Nigerians are paying tax. How many Nigerians are being fully employed or productive? That's the truth. But in all sincerity, a lot of people are struggling. What people are making is not even enough.
They take home, cannot take them home.
And their families. So when you now tax manufacturers of consumables, the manufacturers manufacturers will pass on the bulk to the masses that are already struggling. Then I want to say something. So a lot of expatriate companies, especially Indians, I used to live in a local area, so I know. A lot of them are milking dollars away from Nigeria. And their staff are living off Nigerians. Their houses are paid, their rents are being paid by reducing their taxable income. They are riding brand new cars, which they cannot afford ordinarily. Their incomes are being sent directly to the Indian expatriates, for instance, Pakistanis, Lebanese, and co. They only spend they don't spend money on food. All their clothes, their shoes, they bring it from their countries.
Yeah.
They are actually exporting dollars.
Yeah.
A lot of the manufacturing companies that are Indian-based, pharmaceutical companies, they don't produce Nigeria. They can't package Nigeria, so they're just taking dollars away from Nigeria. So we have a lot of ways. There are sectors that need to be taxed.
Thank you, Olushiji. But I think that goes
totally different. Is a totally different topic. It is huge.
But they go back to what the LCCI is saying, that increase, widen it, let it reach these people.
There
are people that are not being taxed appropriately. Because before you start increasing the one I take, ensure that those people, the big manufacturing companies, especially those are the foreign ones, are appropriately taxed. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
So for me, I'll go back to people will go hungry when you increase taxation on carbonated drinks. And it is when you look at it from end to end that you realize the hunger. The value chain of carbonated drink does not end with those that consume it. They are middle buyers, they are distributors, they are the roadside hawkers who make money every day from selling that 100 naira bottle of drink, who will be unable to sell when it becomes 120 or 150 because many people will not buy it. They will say, I don't have that change. They will stop buying it. And so the road hawkers will lose money. The minor distributor that gives to road hawkers will lose money. Who probably has children to feed and in-house staff that he cannot afford to pay anymore, there will be hunger. One little thing can cause hunger for thousands of people, if not millions, because the value chain of carbonated drinks is huge. Millions of people actually make a living from selling these bottles of pet drinks that we drink every day. So it is not something you can just say. It's because the government knows how much money comes through carbonated drinks that they decide to tax it. They know if they tax it,
we know all here when we sat down and said, listen, okay, remember when we were talking about how do we plan to get this revenue?
So that's what I'm going to now. What I want to say is that while we understand the government needs money, in most economies you tax the rich to pay the poor. We still have a very, very, like we have the gap. 1%. The gap between our rich and poor is ridiculously wide. We are the headquarters of poverty in the world. We have the largest number of them. And yet we have the richest man in Africa in this same country. So we understand that there is money here. It's just that it's in the hand of a few people. And we need to find a way creatively to collect it from them and offset the poor within the society.
It's compulsory.
I also think it's a bit of let me just add. Don't you think it's a little bit of an exaggeration when you say that the increase in price in carbonated drink would now stop the production of that of carbonated drinks? Because over the years, prices of carbonated drinks have grown, have increased almost every year. There's people are still in that business, selling that business. What we're asking now is, does that mean mass hunger for Nigerians when prices of carbonated drinks go up? I understand that the NLC is trying to send a message of saying, maybe tax something else, but it will not cause mass hunger.
So government already makes VAT on these products from these companies.
Yes.
And then they want to increase excise. What Stockwell is saying, the end-to-end, is that the loss of jobs in between the chain is going to be massive. Because, for instance, I don't even want to buy before. Now you have increased the money. That will discourage purchase. Sales will drop. People would leave this business, and that's a fact. But we see government every time bring interventions in places in ways we don't understand. Now we cannot secure the farms, but we've given farmers and borrowers all money, and we watch that money waste. Well, also, the Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs keeps going around. They used to do cash. We'll see them disbursing cash. In what sector exactly, and what was the objective of the cash being disbursed?
Yes.
Did we see the result in a year that made us continue the next year? Because now we're thinking, how do we get these monies back? And the people that we do not share the money to are the people who are expanding our tax net too. We went to the most impoverished areas, and we did not think of creating companies, businesses. Maybe they should recycle or start to package their tomatoes in those farms. We didn't go there and put companies that secure the investment that we put in those areas. Yeah. And so that we ensure that when we come back to say, bring your taxes, people will be willing to pay the taxes that government has created an environment for and then secured. Right. We left those places, farmers lost their harvest to banditry. And now we're just in reacting to that problem. Not only now that we're doing more insecurity, we're just now coming again with taxes in another area. Right, so are we thinking of a way that life will be better for our people?
I hear you. And there are different levels. So there's a level of the people. But you see, my own worry is that why do we, the people, always find it difficult to take responsibility at some point in the scheme of things? It's always, oh, federal government wants to increase taxes. Oh, federal government, yes, they're saying we must pay excise duty on this. We, the people, must at some point come to the reality that we will pay taxes. That many of us, truthfully, that are outside the formal sector are not paying taxes, and that's the truth.
Everybody in Nigeria is paying taxes.
Tell me how.
They may not pay formally, but they are paying. There is nobody.
There's even the unqualified one.
The local market woman, every day, they come and collect money from her that is called tax, that goes to local government. So we cannot say, look, everybody.
But talk with that money doesn't go to the coffers of the government.
That is not my problem. That is the government's problem. The government is the government's problem. I go and park my car in, I want to buy tomato, I pay 200 naira. I go to the I pay 500 naira. Everywhere. The woman right there selling me the fruits is also paying on a daily basis. And yet, we are saying that half of our population is not captured. What the government is failing to realize is that they have not captured the gaps that their inefficiencies have created. The loopholes their policies has created.
They are unwilling to do that. The road to the airport was done by Governor Ambodi's administration with monies that Lagos State will have to find a way to pay back. But just before that road is a toll gate that I have paid 200 naira to pass all my life. Okay. Where is the taxes going to? Is it not supposed to maintain or create the roads? Government knows where the money is. Government is unwilling because of paddy to do the right thing. Tax where you need to tax and there will be no problem. All right, no Nigerian is unwilling to pay tax. Maria, don't misplace it. Nigerians are worried.
Making money, I'll pay.
Where the one I paid before? Where has it gone?
Okay, so thank you. I want to add something to that because I was saying that yes, we have that. The one I paid before, where is it? I keep saying the argument. Okay, we all see that many people have stolen our money, Abi.
Yes.
That has been swindled. Yes. But we're saying if we want to move out of this box, is either to trust or not to trust. That's the question. Do I trust the government that if I pay this money, they'll do it?
So I think to
earn that trust, how do I earn it? Let me go on a break. Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss. I'll start with Mariam because I think the two of you are on fire. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
kádàrá aláwọ̀ àkàkàjù. àwọn kan wà tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ ọkú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you gonna say it?
ọkọ tí wàá sọ yìí.
bó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
bó ṣe pé ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ àyà mi ti sọ kí.
torí kí ni.
àkọ́yẹ́ kọ́ mọ píjẹ́ ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ yọmọ mú yẹn rí flashback jọ́ ìkí ọmọ tó mọ ẹgbọ́n mọ́.
kádàrá aláwọ̀ àkàkàjù. àwọn kan wà tí tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ kú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you gonna say it?
ọkọ tí wàá sọ yẹn.
Bó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
bó ṣe pé ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùn àyà mi ti sọ kí.
Torí kí ni?
àkọyẹ kọ́ mọ píjẹ́ ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùn mọ́ yọ ọmọ mú yẹn rí flashback jọ́ yìí kí ọmọ tó mọ ẹgbọ́n mọ́.
lọ́n ṣe mọ̀ kádàrá aláwọ̀ àkàkàjù. àwọn kan wà tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ kú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you gonna say it?
ọkọ tí wàá sọ yẹn.
Bó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
bó ṣe pé ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùn àyà mi ti sọ kí.
Torí kí ni?
àkọyẹ kọ́ mọ píjẹ́ ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùn mọ́ yọ ọmọ mú yẹn rí flashback jọ́ yìí kí ọmọ tó mọ ẹgbọ́n mọ́.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this issue of taxes, and I think we're taking it away from just the carbonated drinks, but the fact that Nigerians seem to hate taxes. And Tokwe and Nima said, no, it's not that they hate taxes, that they actually do pay taxes, just that it's not captured. Now, I was now saying that the issue I have is, do we trust the government to use our taxes appropriately, or do we not trust the government? So how do we therefore prove, how do we move forward if the government doesn't have money? Because across the world, tax is a major debating issue for elections. Every candidates across many countries are talking about, am I increasing taxes, am I reducing taxes, what are you using taxes for? It's all about taxes. So taxes is a major discussion. So at what point do we begin to face the reality that taxes must be, is our key way to growth in this country?
Okay, I think it's truly a matter of trust, and I agree with both of them that Nigerians are willing to pay taxes. But to get to the point where we can trust that government understands what it's asking of Nigerians and will do exactly with the money that they raise from taxes is when we have conversations concerning, like this particular conversation we're having now, the taxes on carbonated drinks, and we're hearing stakeholders saying that you do not have these conversations with us. First of all, it shows that maybe the government is not well versed in the business of how to go about these things. So first, are you involving those stakeholders? Secondly, are you giving us a plan and saying we have a 5-year plan, and this is, we're putting money towards this fund, and this fund goes to the health sector. When we raise taxes from here and from here, it would go to this fund, which would make sure that there is power that, across all the health facilities in the country. We raise this tax and it goes to education. And then we see that for all the other cases where monies have been misappropriated, taxes have been taken away and not used for what they have been used for, you will bring these people to book, you prosecute them, you make an example of them. Nigerians are also able to point out people that they are, whistleblowing, point out people that may have misappropriated funds. Then we'll come to a conversation of trust and doing what we're meant to do. Then, Nigerians like to say it, after all, it's my money that is paying for your uniform. We tell our uniform men that because we know where it's supposed to go. But until then, Nigerians will still have that back and forth. So government needs to come with that part of the conversation of saying, this is what we're going to do, and you can hold us to this.
So thank you very much.
She answered it well.
Totally, yeah.
The best way to win trust is to prosecute. Bring justice. You win our trust by showing us that you are willing to prosecute no matter how high, influential the person is, that is found in any way to be corrupt. That person faces the law. You recover our money, then we'll start trusting you to give you more money.
Not only that, when government goes out to borrow, we know they borrow. And then they come around, they come with some interventions and all of those plans that put the money exactly where it will generate the fund. Bring in 56 point, like in the last year, Tribune carried it this morning that 56 point something billion was disbursed to women and children in businesses, machine and all of that. Then
money that cannot come back.
The money that cannot come back, tax the places where you put the money. In your consultants that are getting the 25% of every loan that you're bringing, please let me finish. It's in the papers. Tax the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money and tax the money. Don't sit down and just say, okay, now China is ready for their money. We'll tax, we'll increase excise duty here. We'll tax this, that. Follow the money in whatever investment it is. I believe in us paying toll. I believe in concessioning of roads and all of that to develop the road. But it is because the money was put in that project. That's why it's there. That's why they are taking the money from that source. So do the same thing for every money that you go out to borrow. Don't just borrow. Some people will live large, throw parties that they can't afford, do the weddings that they can't afford, fly private that they can't afford. Then you come and you try to explain taxes to me, and I'm wondering, I never lived that life. I don't know how come. How do Nigerians relate with these charges? It can't make sense when they still have to think of where they will find their child school fees from.
People on YouTube,
let's take a few comments.
People on YouTube are really talking. Ogumola Emmanuel says, corruption has gotten far...
Oh, let me hold you for a second. Dr. Moyo has been on the call for a while. Dr. Moyo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I'm happy with this new development because I've been warning one of my younger cousins. You are said to stop drinking carbonated drinks. All his money is always using to buy carbonated drinks. Maybe this will force him to buy oranges. I told him, instead of that money he wants to use to buy minerals, buy orange, buy banana, pineapple. That will curb it will force him to curb his being overweight. It will curb his cravings and make him eat healthier.
Dr. Moyo, we can understand.
Yes.
Thank you, doctor. So what doctor is saying is that so those distributors for carbonated drinks start distributing fruits, start distributing zobo, start distributing local drinks.
Let me tell you how this thing works.
Right? I'm sorry. We don't tax farm products, agricultural products in Nigeria. They are excluded because we say they have a lot of other factors that government has considered. How about government go and borrow money? Come and put an industry in every of these areas that is easily accessed by the farmers and convert this to complex products that you can then tax. Why are we watching the products?
That's the job of the local government. You see, a lot of things
not just local government.
I am agreeing with you in a different way.
Yeah, because
I'm saying that
is not balanced.
Yeah, exactly.
We know that's what I'm saying.
No, so that's what I'm saying. That money should go to the local government to trickle down properly. So because the truth is that every local government should have something you're producing. Either it is pure water, either it is zobo, either it is whatever. Every local government should.
But I just want to say, Arizona, I also want to say there's some kind of products that no matter the increase in price, it does not stop people from taking it. I know that when cigarettes, they have increased the price, they have put all sorts of messages on the boxes. People still take it. Yeah. Those things are almost addictive.
I went to a party. Somebody puts shampoo on the table. Say this is 500,000. I say, hey. I mean champagne.
Oh, and if you drink them?
I don't drink. I drink. I just said, wow. No. I was admiring. I was like, wow. I just had that. Like one bottle, and I'm thinking to myself, okay.
But why? In a country of poverty, anyway, they have to go on a break.
Unfortunately, we can't be without
take this message.
Quickly. 10
Yes.
seconds.
Ogumola Emmanuel says corruption has gotten fatter and hungrier that the federal government is now finding means to feed it. The problem is not increasing tax, but to put in place well-structured taxation with proper tracking system.
Right, fantastic. That's all we can take on this segment. I think we did a good job to this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC Communications story.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and
Thanks for staying with us. Before we bring in our guests, we're told that the parliamentary workers at the National Assembly are currently protesting on non-payment of their entitlements. We have our correspondent, Joke Adisa, there to give us an update. Good morning, Joke. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. Could you give us an update on what's going on at the National Assembly right now?
Yes, what we have now is that workers of the National Assembly are beginning a picketting exercise. Recall that on Thursday they had a meeting, although the pressmen were not invited, but they did issue a press statement indicating that they will commence this industrial action from today. So the authorities failed to listen to them and also accede to their request. So that is what they woke up this morning with. As early as 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, they were there, and so they kicked off this exercise in fullness, and they have their resolution is that they will continue until the management as well as the leadership of the National Assembly come to the roundtable with them and they are able to keep to the agreement that they signed earlier last year. So that is what we have now. They have said that there's no retreat, no surrender. One of their slogans is that the agreement is agreement, and the National Assembly managed to honor the agreement they had with them last year, over the years that they've been having agreements that have not been honored, that have not been kept. So that's why they said to have been patient, and now they can no longer hold it because they are suffering as they put it. So we're hoping to also meet for the management to get inside of the story. So I'm also hoping that they will also come to address them and to see how well they'll be able to allay their fears so that normalcy can return. By next week, the National Assembly is supposed to resume for the year. So we'll see how they manage this issue between now and then.
So if you are protesting when they've not resumed, so who are you protesting to against for the media?
They resumed.
They've resumed. Okay, go ahead, Tokwe.
So they are workers in the National Assembly. They come to work every day, whether or not the Parliament is in session.
Right.
So they come to work every day. They are workers. They work for the National Assembly. They work for the legislators. But now that the legislators are not there, they don't stop their work. They come to work every day.
Right.
But of course, it's not only them. Last year, we also had a series of protests from legislative aid over non-payment of their arrears and all stuff. So we are looking to see how this is also resolved. And by next week, I'm sure the leadership by now should also be waiting the leadership of the National Assembly to see that its activities next week are not stalled.
Right. It's so sad that we have to always get to protest stage before things that should be done get done. From your explanation, you mentioned that they are protesting previously unpaid salary arrears, minimum wage arrears. Is it that they are now paying them? Are they now paying, like this December salary? Is it in compliance with the minimum wage and that they did not pay previous ones? Or like right from when the minimum wage was upgraded to 30,000 naira, they haven't gotten paid the standard minimum wage? Kindly help us clarify this.
Yes, the minimum wage arrears, 8 months minimum wage arrears, really. Over the years, since that bill was signed into law, they've been engaging with the management. And so far, with the MOU that they entered, the agreement was available by the last quarter of 2021. The National Assembly will have been able to offset all the arrears. But as we speak, they say that they are still, the management is still indebted to them for 8 months. And so without it, they cannot go ahead with the work. And that is even not only the issue. They're also talking about the consolidated legislative salary structure, which they said are not implemented by the management. There are a whole lot of people, they say they want they are going to be receiving trade as they should do, and that all these are embedded in the budget. Yet they do not see the money, and they are not also trained as well. So the first meaning is with the management of the National Assembly. But of course, the government has also been saying that the money is not there to take care of all this. But as long as the money is not there, the management cannot be saving so money. But I think the leadership of the National Assembly will also need to wait to be able to ensure that this matter is solved.
Right. Thank you very much, Jokari. I'll let you go at this point. Thank you for giving us an update on what's going on there. We'll continue to follow the story and hope that at the resumption we get some kind of solution to this problem. Thank you very much, Joke, for staying with us. Now, we have our guest. We have the Chairman, Senate Committee on Information, who is also the spokesman for the Senate, Senator Bashiru Ajibula. He'll be speaking to us on Senate activities for the year 2022, the rejection of the electoral bill by President Muhammadu Buhari, and the concerns raised by the President during the signing of the 2022 Appropriation Act. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Happy New Year to you, sir. Yes, thanks for joining us. So before we go into the nitty-gritty of what our conversation is about, let me just hear your thoughts on these things happening in the National Assembly, the protests happening. In this kind of situation, why does it always take a protest to resolve these kind of issues? So we have the increase in minimum wage that is official. Why has it, do you think, in your own thoughts, why hasn't it been implemented? And why does it take even the staff of the National Assembly to protest an increase, to get arrears of 8 months? Why does it have to come to this point all the time?
I don't know. I don't know why it has to get to that stage. It is not part of the business of elected legislators to engage in the bureaucracy or management of the National Assembly. I think the proper, channel to answer those questions is the head of the management of the National Assembly, which is the clerk of the National Assembly. So we don't get ourselves into details of how bureaucracy of the National Assembly is run. We are only expected to make ourselves available in our offices and attend plenary sitting. The details of staffing, payment of salary, allowances, and issues that has to do with minimum wage can only be answered by the bureaucracy of the National Assembly. And that is why the protest is not directed at us as national legislators, but at the management of the National Assembly, which we are not part of.
Totally correct, sir. But, these are people who would say are the most privileged level of civil service because, they are closer to the seat of influence. Is there anything that the leadership of the National Assembly is willing to do on their behalf to get their demands met before we get to an embarrassed state within the...
I can't answer your question because I'm not part of the management. The leadership of National Assembly is not part of the management. And I think protests and strike and the legitimate means by which workers can fertilate their rights. So the workers in the National Assembly are in the line of exercising their democratic rights and their labor rights to protest against what they perceive as the inadequacies of whatever the management has done. And as an activist, I'm in line with them in spirit, and they pray that the management will address their concerns.
All right, distinguished senator, let's pack the issue of the protest one side, and let's discuss about this bureaucracy you talked about earlier, because Nigerians are seeing that this is a major problem between the civil servants and the appointed officials. So when we appoint you, you are representing us. So for us, you are us there, right? Now, but because there's this difficult, complex web of the civil service and how it functions, why is it so difficult for appointed officials to somewhat always help to intervene in issues of civil service? I see that. I've been going around government circles lately, and you hear things like, I have not been officially informed. Something that we've discussed. The department has not been officially informed. So you tell the government, I'm not aware. There's no document to that effect. And you're thinking, we discussed it together. But so as an appointed person, I discuss it. But as a civil servant, I have not informed you. So that's part of the bureaucracy. So, sir,
how do we reduce bureaucracy and increase productivity?
Yes, how do we, thank you, Tokwe, how do we reduce bureaucracy and increase productivity across board? Now, you're talking about the senator, not concerning this matter, just generally.
You see, the concept of bureaucracy is not negative as you see. It's about streamlining processes and procedures for the attainment of the goal of an institution. And underlining that concept are issue of authority and the line of reporting. And I said this not that I'm not sympathetic to the cause of the protesting workers, but we don't have authority to give instruction as to how the National Assembly should be run to the management of the National Assembly. So even as much as we may be sympathetic, we don't have the necessary legal wherewithal to intervene. I've served in my state, and I will tell you, an officer of my ministry, from the post of my ministry, and the question of our bureaucratic structure is not only in the negative sense, is to ensure that appropriate procedures are followed. And this due process is what embedded, the concept of bureaucracy, I think from even leading scholars like Max Weber that they have enunciated.
Okay, let's go to the issue. Go ahead, Mara.
Yes, so the issue at hand. Our president has just recently signed and assented the budget. And one of the things that was reported is that while he was signing it, he said that it was unimplementable. And he accused the National Assembly of reducing provisions for over 10,000 projects. And those projects were, he said, strategic capital projects, and instead, empowerment projects that were not part of it in the beginning were put in. Simple English, the budget was padded. How are we talking about that now? Given the, the antecedent of this government, that it was very specific and strategic about making sure that this is not part of their story. And here we are talking about padded budgets.
I don't understand what you mean by padded, budgets. And maybe
okay, let me just read this out to you.
I'm a legal practitioner, but if you want us to discuss the speech of the president without any embellishment, I'll be willing to do so. But if it is about coming with an adjective that has no conceptual definition articulated, I don't know how I'm going to address that. Okay. So I don't know what padded padding means. What I know is that national legislators have the power by Section 59 to be part of a process of making Appropriation Act, which is only bill in Section 59, submitted by line and sinker. So to that extent, the question of making of Appropriation Act is a collaborative effort envisaged by the Constitution between the President and the National Assembly. And that is why it is possible for the President to, by subsection 5 of Section 59, veto the appropriation bill, in which case the bill will have to be returned and could only be passed by 2/3 of the majority of the two houses. But as regards the observations made by the President, I will say that I commend the President for at least signing the bill and making it a law, so that we'll be able to consolidate on the gain of reversal from January to December budget cycle. Yes, some of the observations, I must confess, are mind-boggling to me, even as a national legislator, but I believe that since those observations were raised when we are still on recess from plenary, by the time we resume, I will be able to look at each of those issues. And of course, the President, in the concluding part of his speech, has also said he will be sending in a supplementary budget environment to be able to correct what he perceived to be anomaly in what had been passed. But that is not to say to use what is rather nebulous, what connotes negativity and talking about engagement in what refer to as budget padding.
All right, so let's not. So we'll pack padding the word and say increase the budget. Let's use the word increase. So the budget indeed was increased. Now our question therefore is that on what basis do lawmakers increase the budget that the president had sent? Yes, I want to add to that.
Yeah, I just wanted, apart from increase, they added to the budget.
Section 59, you can read section 59 of the Constitution. Section 59 of the Constitution is the authority by which the National Assembly make what is called money bills. And part of the generic name of money bill is the Appropriation Act. The National Assembly, conceptually by constitutional provision, is not expected to just be a rubber stamp and send and agree hook, line, and sinker to revenue or expenditure proposal that have been made by the president. So then on the issue
Oh wow, we're having network issues. I was going to take.
Come on.
Oh, we're still having some issues.
Hello, sir. Well, we can't hear you.
While you consider the rejection from the government owned revenue projection.
So we missed what you said. We lost you for a few seconds.
Yeah, what I was saying is that the revenue projection in the budget proposal was reconsidered to be inadequate because there are opportunities for the government-owned enterprises to actually generate more revenue that have been projected by the executive. So that accounts for the increment in the revenue projection in the Appropriation Act that have been passed. And of course, if there are additional revenue, those revenue in having a balanced budget will have to go into certain additional, expenditure. So it's not just about the fact that, for instance, if the president has submitted that the benchmark of oil price is $59, well, I'm not bound to agree with that. Looking at the circumstance in the international oil market, it could be benchmarked to be $62 per barrel. And of course, that would mean that there will be additional revenue. Similarly, government-owned enterprises, profit from them was considered by the National Assembly to be understated. And it was correctly stated in view of what is projected that they ought to earn in having regard to the historical development of those government-owned enterprises.
Right.
So the question of adding to the budget is because the parameters for revenue itself have to be reconsidered. And it is within our constitutional mandate to reconsider same by Section 59 of the 1999 Constitution.
Assembly. Okay, go ahead, Tokwe.
So I wanted to ask you another question. According to Premium Times, the National Assembly sat for 66 days throughout 2021, and that paper carried 69. Said that in total, there were 8 breaks in the year, some from 1 week to 8 weeks, for several reasons. No more public holiday, sometimes to mourn the passing of a colleague, and many other reasons. And it is contrary to the law that they should sit for a specific number of days. 180 days is the days that you are meant to sit. So I have 2 questions on this. One, as a spokesperson for the Senate, can you explain why there were more effort wasn't carried out by the Senate to at least ensure they are comply with the minimum of the law, if not do more, considering how much we need law making as a country, number one. Number 2 is, can we consider the option of part-time lawmaking, since you can still fulfill your assignment in a year by working 66 days or 69 days, less than 70 days, we might as well just make it a part-time job and everybody gets to do other things.
I think it's unfortunate that the newspaper, or what was the other journal that you mentioned, Premium Times or whatever they call themselves, are just wallowed in ignorance. And I say this with all sense of responsibility of the working of the National Assembly and national legislators. Sitting in plenary is just an aspect of the work of national legislator. So to use the barometer of plenary sitting to judge the work of a national legislator show that they were working from a wrong premise, and of course they will get to wrong conclusions. Right. And that the conclusion is therefore that as national legislators we only work for less than 70 days. It's not only ridiculous, but it shows a spark of lack of understanding and possibly irresponsible journalism, and I say it with all sense of responsibility. The work of national legislators, aside lawmaking, also include oversight. As a member of the National Assembly, I'm a member of at least 7 committees that involve me engaging in the process of public hearing, engaging in traveling for oversight function, and part of our work is also constituency oversight.
He's ready for us. No, I'm ready for him.
Speaking now, I'm speaking from a constituency in action. I'm also to think it in the plenary, I think shows lack of understanding, and it's excusable because of the 3 arms of government in Nigeria. Because of incursion of military rule, the legislative arm appear to be the one that is underdeveloped in terms of understanding and maturity of that institution. So maybe their ignorance may be excusable in that regard. Then speaking about we not sitting on the excuse of the death of our colleague, I think it is most uncharitable for anybody to raise that point. 5 or 6 of our colleagues at the National Assembly in the 2 chambers died. Their parliamentary tradition all over is that on announcement of that date, we will adjourn proceeding only for that date. There's never been a time when we proceeded on break because of that. The reality is that as at inception of COVID-19 pandemic, it was decided by the 2 chambers that we will only be sitting for 2 days, and that is on Tuesday and Wednesday. because of the challenge of the COVID-19 pandemic. So for anybody to the countenance, the reality of COVID-19 pandemic, as I speak today, some levels of public servants at certain grade level at the federal service are not even working now, or they are working in a staccato manner. Right. I'm also aware that many private sector organizations are also not working full scale because of the challenge of COVID-19 pandemic. But to put up a report purportedly to disparage the institution of the National Assembly and to seek to say that national legislators only work for 69 days show either ignorance of the working of the National Assembly or outright mischief, just to undermine the institution of National Assembly to satisfy the yearnings of the funders of that of the foreign funder of that organization that you mentioned.
The part-time one, the other parts of the part-time. So now that you have the work you do released outside, maybe not, you don't need to be in the plenary. Does it therefore suggest that part-time work might be considered?
According to,
I think I'm a student. I don't set my marking scheme. If you so think that national legislature should be a matter of part-time, I think you may introduce an amendment to the Constitution to make it so. So okay. I'm not volunteering any opinion, but the work of national legislator is more serious, more involving, more engaging than just sitting at the plenary sitting.
Okay. Point taken. Go ahead. Neil.
So, the comment was not that the Senate did not work. And I find this a bit conflicting sometimes when journalists ask questions and politicians take it as an attack. I was clear in saying sitting. The question was not for working. Obviously, the Senate work more than just sitting, and the work is beyond just sitting. However, according to Section 63 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, lawmakers of both the Senate and the House of Representatives are meant to sit for a period, if not less than 181 days in a year. That is the specific question that I'm using to say, okay, they sat for 69 days. And from your answer, it seems that there was a concession to reduce the number of days based on COVID-19. Was that passed that, okay, because of COVID-19, we are going to be sitting for 2 days in a week, and we might not sit as much as 181 days.
So was the law amended?
We have signed it that this will be the rule for while we are battling a pandemic.
So was the law amended in a nutshell?
If you think COVID-19 pandemic is not a reasonable reason for us to sit for 2 days in a week, I don't have anything to add.
That wasn't my question, sir.
And when you talk of amendment of law, it's not law, constitution. For you to amend constitutional provision, you require 2/3 of the National Assembly and 2/3 majority of the State House of Assembly. And you also have to contend with the issue of the COVID-19 pandemic. That's the basis of your purported amendment. Are we going to amend constitution because of an emergency that could be temporal when we're already seeing the light at the end of the tunnel? Constitution of the country is the ground norm and the basic law of the country. You just amend it as if you are amending circulars issued by an organization. So I think the argument on the issue of the law, the constitution ought to have been amended before we engage. The question I want to ask is this. We are even lucky that COVID-19 pandemic is subsiding. How would you even amend law in 2020 when the whole world was on a standstill for more than 6 or 7 months? So in the context of constitutional interpretation, the doctrine of necessity will determine how you apply and proceed as emergencies arise.
All right, let me get one more question in for you.
It's a public health sector emergency in the country and in the world. So in the light of that public emergency, the doctrine of necessity will require that we take it as we think is in the best interest to be able to do our work. In any event, 2021 is perhaps the most productive year in the history of the Nigerian National Assembly. Going by the volume, the impactful nature of legislations that were done in that year.
Let me get one more question in for you. Go ahead, Nima.
Continue to go up. According to the report that I have before me, from 143 billion naira in 2017, it has gone to 505 billion naira in 2021, the proposed budget that we have. Why is this? Because Serap also is suing the leadership of the National Assembly for not probing, auditing the finances of the National Assembly and spendings?
When it comes to Serap, all the cases that Serap that are filed in court, please tell me which one have they succeeded in. You see, we have to be careful about people whose source of livelihood is bastardizing national democratic institutions for their own livelihood. With all sense of responsibility, Serap almost every week file cases. I ask you, come up with any of the cases that have been successful in that regard. So I will not dignify people who source of livelihood is a mindless litigation, seeking to just, raise, their profile with their funding organization.
The question is not about Serap now. I'm just saying they are probing. But why has
you mentioned Serap? I can't dignify
it's not
you
about
with
them,
responding to Serap. Okay. It's an organization that I don't believe it has necessary credibility to talk about how Nigeria works. And I say it with all sense of responsibility.
Distinguished Senator, the question is, why has there been a consistent increase in the budget of the National Assembly?
Simple terms, simple.
Where would there not be consistent increase in the budget of the National Assembly, having regard to the economic parameters, having regard to inflation, and having regard to the foreign exchange fluctuation in Nigeria? That is the question that should be asked. So it's not just enough to say there's increment. You have to look in the context of economic parameters of the country.
I agree with
so
you.
It's only even the size of our national budget increased from 13.8 trillion in 2021 to almost 17 trillion in 2022. So the question you ask is that should budget be static or should they be reduced?
Senator, let's bring the conversation to basic terms.
I think those questions, for me, lies in our institution.
Okay, so let's bring the conversation home to what the average man on the street is asking. Everybody is talking about this unicameral, bicameral, that the cost of governance, the size of governance is so much. In your view, there's an increase in the budget of the National Assembly. We're saying even ordinary minimum wage hasn't been increased. There's a lot of issues we're having as a country. Therefore, don't you think we should start from the National Assembly where we can begin to reduce the size? Do we need this humongous number of people to make laws for us or to do oversight some functions? You can send somebody to go and do oversight some functions for you. But do we need lawmakers this many? Hello, sir.
That I resume the National Assembly, my salaries and allowances have not been increased. So you must make a distinction between increment of the budget of the National Assembly as a management and bureaucratic body and that of national legislators. So I challenge you to provide evidence that the salary and allowances of national legislators have been increased with a penny since 1999 or even before that time. They're now talking about whether the size of the number should be reduced. I say this that it appears to be because we don't even understand as educated people the function of representation in governance. The basis of democratic governance is representation. And what do we have? We talk of unicameral representation. We have a federal system of government today where there are different bases for representation of the two chambers in the National Assembly. The upper chamber, the Senate, is based on the quality of all the states. So Bayelsa, with 8 local governments, my state, Osun, with 30 local governments, Kano, with 56 local governments, have 3 legislators on that basis. But the House of Representatives, the representation is based on population, geography, and spread. So when you look at that, if you now say you want to, for instance, take only an aspect of it, you have a situation whereby the fear of domination by a particular ethnic group, which prompted adoption of federalism, will be defeated. And I want to say, whether we like it or not, there's nowhere in the world where democracy is practiced, where governance is practiced, that only cost will be the overriding interest. The overriding interest is delivery on quality representation, democratic governance, and advancement of the welfare of the people.
Wait, go ahead.
So my worry, sir, is that I hear you and I understand the importance of representation. and I understand the need to create a fair and balanced system. We are, however, a poor and borrowing country, and we must always put that in our consciousness. Also, as it is right now, we're entering a lot of treaties and agreements that would put us in debt for over 30 years. And the National Assembly, the government has put the burden of raising funds on either debts or taxes, which will definitely increase the hardship on the people. Subsidy is living. As a representative of the people, I would think that the first idea would be in terms of how can we cut costs, where the National Assembly would shrink itself and then impose via lawmaking that same shrinking on the executive arm. So my question to you, sir, is when you represent people who are poor, how do you live, how would you expect us to be considerate of the largesse we think is going on within the National Assembly?
I think I object to the word of yes. And I think it's part of, with respect, lack of understanding of how the National Assembly works. What is largesse there? Your salary that you take for your work, yes, it comes from the private sector. Does it mean it's a largesse? Was it money that was given for you for doing nothing? So I want to first, we need to be careful about the work, about the word, the kind of word that we use in describing, some of these things. I will tell you, I'm for reducing cost of governance, but it appears that the area of reduction of cost of governance is misplaced. If you are looking for reduction of cost of governance, I think I will advise you that you beam your searchlight on the executive. And what do I mean? The budget of National Assembly that you will keep on hammering on is at the best of time less than 150 billion naira per annum. But the recurrent expenditure of the executive today is at the minimum about 5-point-something trillion. So even let's assume we scrap National Assembly and we take away the 150 billion, how much are you really saving in terms of cost of governance? So the cost of governance reduction argument should look at streamlining ministries, the department and agencies of the executive and ensuring that we save. But in also doing that, you must have an exit strategy for those whose livelihood is in that national institution of bureaucracy. How do you accommodate those who are already within the bureaucracy when you are doing rationalization?
We have just less than a minute.
Nigerian resources.
Yes.
So
we have just less than a minute. I want to
the argument on the argument on reduction of cost of governance is not just to make a banalistic and rather unfortunate allegation or say that National Assembly is collecting a largesse. No, we are not collecting largesse at all. The reality is that we must downsize the executive arm and the bureaucracy.
Point taken. Let me take a final question for you. Go ahead, Mara, please.
Okay, I would just like to know what plans the National Assembly has, going for 2022. We wait, many Nigerians are disillusioned about a lot of things. One of it is this budget. But you have explained to us, I hate to go back to the budget, but can I ask one more? You explained to us why those increases were made and those projects inserted, but could you explain to me why the capital projects the president talked about were reduced and the amounts reduced? What were the economic parameters used in doing that?
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. I think we lost him. Oh, please, I would really love to hear. Oh, sugar, I think we lost him. Okay, I really wish we could call him back and get the answer to that question. We have to run off, unfortunately. That's all we can take on the show. Sadly, we've lost the senator. I think we should bring him back. I actually enjoyed that conversation. He's a spokesman, so he's
he did a good job of defending.
Oh, I think
giving us information.
To clarify that the budget increase does not mean an increase in their salary, which is the more reason why Serap is on the right track, probing why the leadership is not auditing the money.
I would also, I wish you had answered Mariam's question because the president clearly said that the reduction of the budget of the capital project would undermine the capacity to fulfill those projects.
Unfortunately, we can't get him back on, so we'll try to bring him back as soon as possible, maybe sometime next week.
Thank you.
It was really, really nice. It was a good conversation. That's all we can take on the show this morning. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.